Hello and welcome to the Intelligent Gentleman Show. I'm your host, Milt Walker, and today we're taking it easy. We're just relaxing, maxing, um, nice, smooth, mellow vibe. Um, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the projects I have coming up, um, dealing with the community, some community projects that I'm working on. Um, that I'm really excited about. 2021, right? This year is the year to focus on elevation, becoming more, becoming more as a person, becoming more as a community, and really pushing our community into the next era, right? Into the next stage, because it's very important that we take the momentum that we've gained from being still in you know in what we've been doing, right? Which is during the pandemic we've been staying at home, staying safe, hopefully, and it's not over yet, right? So we definitely want to make sure that we use those lessons that we've learned throughout that process to be able to go forward confident that we can do so in the right way. And again, part of that is organizing together and planning out strategies for our communities. And me myself, as I stated in other podcasts, I've really wanted to do that in my community um, since a long time ago, since I really became awakened to the problems in my community, right? When I first started realizing and, you know, understanding that, our some of the things that plague our community are some pretty big problems, and they're compound problems. They're problems on top of problems. And so we have to address these problems in a very organized way, or we fall victim to kind of going back into the same thing, right? Um, so I work with community leaders and people who have that vision and that goal in mind, and I look forward to 2021 being the time where we can all move forward in this and get away from some of those learned behaviors that we've learned over the years having to survive. A friend of mine's a psychologist, and he's always talking about that survival mentality, and how when you've had to survive for so long, you develop these habits of actually going through life feeling like you're on the defensive. So even with your own people and in your own communities, you may feel the urge to not be as open, to not be as inclusive, to not want to incorporate other people into what you're doing and make it all about yourself, right? Um, which is counterproductive to all of the things that we have to do as a community. And so if we start understanding that and putting what we've learned into practice and to combat those types of realities, then we'll definitely be able to, you know, we'll be able to make it a lot further. As the saying goes, you can go if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go with the community, go with a group, go with your family. You want to go with other people. You want to have support. You want to have people who are there with you that can help you carry the load, or you know, hunt. If you're out there trying to go after that big game, when you're hunting in the pack, it's different from hunting by yourself. You might can do it by yourself, but you got to do a lot more. A lot more strategy, a lot more waiting, a lot more patience, and you definitely can't carry all of it back by yourself, right? That tells you right there. You carry more back, you carry it back for the whole community. Um, and so I just want to kind of go over some of the things that you know I have planned and what I want to be a part of, um, going into 2021, to kind of help facilitate these things. Um, One of my things is technology, right? I've done a lot of learning, um, and I've educated myself in a lot of ways when it comes to technology. And the reason why I say it that way is because, from the physical to the network to the software to the cloud, like I've learned a lot of things about IT systems, and not just how to put them together, but how to administrate them, right? How to control them and let them make whatever it is, whatever company, whatever business, um, make it more efficient using that technology, right? Even all the way up to um, a very high level, where I had to manage several projects across a geographical area, the whole state. Um, and so, with that being said, that's one of the things that I've spent time learning and you know and doing. And so, you know, um, so it's one of those things that I want to bring back to the community, right? I want to bring that back to the community. So one of the things that I want to do in my plans for 2021, um, is to teach computer science skills to, you know, uh, to low income communities. And the reason why I want to do that is because technology is a is a stabilizing agent. It's a way to even the playing field. Anybody can get online and start a business. Anybody can get online and start creating things, right? For not just themselves and not just their immediate people, but for the entire world. You know, um, they can, really have a huge impact. And as my friend Honey Renee Gunn says, our youth needs that, right? I've had her on the show many times, good friend of mine. And, our youth need that, because we want to guide them in the right way to use the technology. We don't want the technology to guide them. We want them to guide the technology, right? We want them to be in control of how that technology plays out and come up with more creative ways to use that technology to empower our communities, right? Um, but to get to that point, you got to understand the basics too. So, understanding the basics from education is very important, which includes social skills, which includes um, those skills that help you become a better person, right? Because if you put, you know, something into a child's hand and you expect them to do great things with it, but you haven't taught them what it is to be great, then what can you really expect from them, right? You can only expect them to do what they've seen somebody else do, right? So whatever they've seen somebody else do, they're gonna come in and they're gonna try to do that too, so they're gonna, so whatever it is. I mean, if it's If it's something that's negative, then it's going to be negative, right? So it's something that we want to make sure that as leaders and parents and community, we are definitely instilling in our kids the right values, morals, understanding, the basic knowledge, reading, writing, right? Math, science, understanding how the world works, on a very basic and fundamental level. And then from there, you can build on top of that, right? And I like to use an example, when I talk about these things, because, you know, one of the things that people like to say is, okay, you know, technology kind of, distracts people, which it can. It can definitely distract people if you're not using it in the right way, right? Um, but if you're using it to empower people, that's not a distraction. You get what I'm saying? That's not a distraction. Empowering people is not a distraction. That's a necessity. We need to be empowering our community. And you reach more people through technology, right? So not only can you reach the people in your community, in your immediate vicinity, you can reach people all over the world, right? Um, and so taking those principles and placing them into, you know, a program where, we teach kids this, and we also teach them skills on how to use the technology to do whatever it is they're trying to do. Doesn't necessarily mean that they have to get into a technology field, but they're going to be using technology, whatever field they get into. So teaching them those skills of how to use it and how to use it efficiently and not to let it use them is critical, right? Um, you'd be surprised how many times I've done classes where, you know, even children, like, one would think, okay, well, children know how to do a lot of things with technology, but then when you ask them about basic functions of certain programs and things that they're actually doing, you'd be surprised how many of them don't know. It's because again, they're learning by what? Imitation. They're learning by what they see. So they see people using it specific ways, and so that's how they know how to use it. If more people were entrepreneurs around them, then they would be able to see how entrepreneurs use the technology, to do other things, right? To do things like, balance your checkbook, to do things like calculate your mortgage, to do things like, I was talking with my daughter earlier today, and she's learning about percentages and she's learning how to calculate interest and so on and so forth, So, I mean, we got to teach our kids this, especially if it's not being taught in the school system. We need to teach our kids this because these are the skills that they're going to need in real life, not just you know, theoretically, but they're going to need it in real life. The basic life skills, right? Um, so I'm just going to go over a couple of things. Like I mentioned, the first program is a program that's it's a resource for the community, and it's teaching all aspects of life from social skills to basic subjects, right? Emphasis on character building and life planning. That's the emphasis because without that, you don't have a foundation. So you can't really build on anything, right? So character building and life planning is going to be the core of the program, but we're also going to teach STEM subjects and the arts, music, you know. Um, and so you know, we want to do it in a format where it's after school, homeschool, or virtual schooling. Um, and so, what does that mean? So that means that as a community, you know, we're going to need to support such endeavors, right? So we're going to need supplies and we're going to need funding. Um, and, you know, I encourage, business owners throughout your community to give back. I know a lot of them do. I see a lot of them, on my Facebook page. A lot of my friends who are entrepreneurs, they're always in the community, they're always giving back, and I commend you for that. May you stay blessed and stay walking in the light. It's a great thing to see that. It's so motivational. Um, and again, for me, I want to do my part. I want to teach kids these things. Um, because you know, I was the other day. I was kind of going back over some projects that I had lined up and some things that I've been working on that I kind of put on the back burner for a little bit. I kind of brought them back up, dusted them off, and brought them back up. Some software development projects that I'm doing. I just redid my website. I just kind of working on some things just to kind of just kind of shaking off some rust. Getting ready to move, getting ready to put some energy into the universe, right? Um, because I've already been doing it, but again, when you're talking about making it a larger scale, when you're talking about growing these programs, you got to start thinking in a different way. You can't think the same way, right? Um, so one of the things, they're going to be using laptops and Chromebooks, of course. Um, they're going to need writing supplies, art supplies, and other miscellaneous supplies, along with furniture to go in when they're doing the in-person teaching. Um, and stuff like that. And I also want to do a call out for all teachers that can come in every day and teach classes. Whatever it is, it can be anything. Because again, it's not going to be limited to that. We want to teach them vocational skills as well. So we want to teach them vocational skills and we want to teach them entrepreneurship skills. So they can learn these things and leadership skills. And so they can learn all these things. And then the goal, the vision is that they can go from there to either opening a business of their own with the skills that they learned, or they can have the tools that they need to go and work in another business and still, but always with the mindset that I was talking to another friend of mine about how the economy's different. Like this is not we're no longer in the same type of economy that we used to be, right? This is a entrepreneurship economy. How do you know that? Well, think about all the gig workers. What they call gig workers, the 1099 workers. It's tax time, so I'm gonna start throwing out some tax terms. 1099 workers, right? Those who do contracts, contractors, and stuff like that for people. These people, they're entrepreneurs. You have to be a self-starter. You have to get up and go, whether you're doing the DoorDash, whether you're doing the Instacart, whether you're doing Postmates, whether you're doing, Uber, Lyft, whatever you're doing, that's the new economy. Like people are no longer being confined to a company to do things. Now, not to say that there's anything wrong with that, because there isn't. Because companies, businesses, even people like me and my friends, we need people that they're gonna work with us to do whatever it is that we're trying to do. But you have to have that type of mentality, because businesses now are built on collaboration. They're not built on siloed thought patterns. You can't say, well, we're going to all stay in here and this is what we're going to. You can't do that anymore. You got to be in a collaborative space. You got to think about things in a way that if if as a people, as a team, how are we going to get this accomplished, right? It can't be, well, I'm going to do this and then you're going to do that, because you've already defeated yourself, because those who are not thinking that way are going to excel. A good example of this in the technology field, of course, I got some for that. When it comes to like Microsoft and Google, the difference between Microsoft and Google. The reason why Microsoft has fell behind for so many years on their software development was not because they didn't have technology or they didn't have good people working for them. It was because they were still using the same old mindset. So what happened was they kept themselves in a closed ecosystem, and they were also kind of arrogant, thinking that, okay, well, people got to use us, so your normal person is not going to use other operating systems and so on and so forth. And if y'all got some questions about these terms I'm throwing out here, please let me know. Send me a live message if you're listening to this as a podcast, or you know, or send me something in the chat and I'll respond to it. But they, the regular person is not going to have, the ability to use these other operating systems, right? So basically, long story short, they fell behind. Their innovation got stifled. So recently, and I use this as an example to people just to show you what that means. Chrome, Google's Chrome browser, right? Started off very simple, no problem, but it was an open source project, still is an open source project. And so, you know, they it's been an open source project, and so people have been contributing to it because it's open source throughout the whole life of this program. So over time, it became better and better and better. You see what I'm getting at now? See, as a group, these people were able to make this software better. They were able to bring it into a better place, right? And so when they did that, Internet Explorer, right? Everybody knows it's fell back and started getting all kind of security flaws, all kinds of stuff was happening with that, right? So there's a new development. Microsoft went and used the same open source technology that Chrome is built on and built their new Microsoft Edge browser, right? So now, and they're touting that. They're saying that it's faster. They're saying it's more secure. Well, yeah, I mean, because you're using this code base from the Chromium project, right? And so, with that being said, I just like to illustrate like that's the difference in the mindset. When you have a mindset where you don't have open innovation and collaboration within your organization, it's not going to last for long. It's not going to last for long unless you change like most of them do. See, the only reason why they lasted so long was because of their position, right? If they weren't in the position that they were in, they would have been gone a long time ago. Because I can tell you, I used to read the forums and everything and hear what people had to say about these people. And it was so funny sometimes because I'm thinking to myself, and I used to test some of their software and I give them my feedback and stuff like that. But, it's just, it's crazy because, you find out that, later it's like, wow, you know, I mean, if they hadn't taken that approach, they would have been gone. They would have been gone. They would have been replaced. Um, and so, that's what we need to be doing. That's what we need to be focusing on. We need to update. I was also having a conversation about education. A friend of mine sent me some videos and everything by Prince EA. He's a YouTuber that does like spoken word, but he does like videos with it. And very powerful brother. He always has a message in what he's saying. And I love when he does what he does. And so when he actually made this video, he was talking about um, you know he was talking about the education system and how, and I've always said this, we're really in an education system built in the industrial age, the past age. That's where that education system is built. You can no longer think that way. That's not the current world that we live in anymore. How do you know that? Well, all the manufacturing jobs are going away, either by automation or being outsourced to places where they do it a lot cheaper. So that's no longer the option, right? Because you're not going to have it's not going to be viable for you. You're always going to get undercut, always. So what do you have to do? You have to change your mindset. You have to get into an innovation mindset and you have to start thinking. And I use this as an example, and I think uh, it was said before on another show that I do. um, if you're a truck driver, right, and you have fear of self-driving cars, and you say, well, they're going to take my job, they're going to be driving the truck. See, you're using an old school way of thinking about it. Instead, you should be saying to yourself, how can I maximize the opportunity? And I'll tell you, I'll give you a cheat code. This is how you do it. If you're a truck driver, buy you a self-driving truck. It's that simple. You're buying trucks anyway. You buy your truck, you bought, a fleet of trucks, whatever the case may be. You buy you a self-driving truck, let the truck drive the route, run your business, and you're good. You see, it's a different type of mindset of I gotta, that's my job. That's my job. No, but you don't want a job. You want a business. Being a truck driver, you are a business. So if your truck drives itself, then you still in business. So why don't we come together as a community and buy a fleet of self-driving trucks and put it out there? That's an idea. You see what I'm saying? It's a difference in the way that you think. What does that do? Oh, well, so people, if you're going to have a fleet of self-driving trucks, then you're going to need people who are able to service those self-driving trucks. So what do you need to be learning? You need to be learning skills that's going to teach you how to do that. I know of several courses right now that you can go and take. They were doing them for free at one point, but now they're charging because the technology is becoming more and more available. So as it becomes more and more real, and of course there's still the political side of that. They still have to pass laws and all that regulating this type of stuff. So it's not about to happen overnight. So if you position yourself in a way, because remember it's chess, it's not checkers. If you position yourself in a way that you can actually gain from that, then you put yourself ahead of the wave, and now you can ride that wave, right? So now you cruising, right? You and your boys, you cruising now. You know what I'm saying? And now you got a fleet of self-driving trucks, but you also got a trained fleet of mechanics that can program those self-driving trucks, that can run automation tests, make sure that they're working right. They can run, these AI tests, these machine learning tests, that can work on these sensors and these cameras that are on it, that's part of it. That's where we need to be going. Not trying to keep doing the same thing. That's not going to help us. That's not going to help us, because guess what's going to happen? You're going to keep doing that same thing, and they're going to come in like they usually do, and they're going to replace that with something else. And now you're going to be sitting back like, dang, why wasn't I paying attention to that move? Right? Chestnut checkers. Why wasn't I paying attention to the to the to the to the rook on the backside? Why? Because it was so many spaces away, you couldn't see it, right? You weren't thinking 12 steps ahead. So when you look at it, we have to have these types of programs in all of our communities teaching these skills so that we can get into that type of game. The the website game, all that stuff, that's cool. You're always gonna need that. You're always gonna need that, but up that a level. Web applications. Learn how to build web applications. Applications in the cloud, because that's where it's gonna be at. If you know how to do software, you can do software in the cloud, right? You can learn that, and you can position yourself to a point where when these companies need somebody, you can be that business that they come to. Hey, look, we need some people who, we need some contractors who can, administrate this for us. So please, could you take this contract? It's a multi-million dollar contract. Easy, easy. And what are you talking about here? You're talking about creating jobs. You're talking about economic empowerment in the community, right? You're talking about elevation. Think about that. I want to put this out there into the atmosphere too, so people can think. Because when you have that type of job, you can do that from anywhere. Software development you can do from anywhere. So if you can do that from anywhere, then you don't necessarily have to be in an office to do it. I could be chilling. I was talking to some of my partners the other day. I was like, you could be chilling on the beach, get an email. Oh, we need you to update this code and this, right? Okay. Pull out your laptop. Boom. Go back to surfing. Go back to chilling on the beach. You know, sipping your martinis or whatever they drink on the beach. I don't drink, so I don't really know. But so again, but I'm using this just to because I want to awaken in you a thought process of thinking outside of the box, outside of that box, not thinking in the same terms as we have always been. Um, there's a friend of mine in the chat right now, and um, you know, when it comes to having what do they say? They say you want to have multiple streams of income that make money while you sleep, right? That's the goal. You want to make money while you sleep. So if that's your goal, then how can you do that if you you know not to say that the vocations and everything are not needed because they are, and you can learn those skills, right? And because we're going to need that too. I mean, you need everything, and as a community, we need all of it, right? But when it comes to economic empowerment, right? If you're becoming a mechanic in a community that doesn't have cars, all they do is, you know, ride public transportation or walk, then that's not really going to do you any good. You see what I'm saying? So you got to go with whatever. That's why it needs to be in every community because it needs to be catered to whatever community it's in, you know. And if it's a good balance of all of it, then it should be a good balance of it. Teaching them this. Okay, so that's my spiel on that. But I'm gonna move on because I got a couple more topics I want to talk about. But yeah, just let me know what you think in the comments about that. And please, if you listen to this as a podcast, please make sure you favorite this, share it, um, and send me a voice message, and I'll get it, and I might put it in my next show. I think I want to start doing that, spotlighting some of my people who listen to my podcast and 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 support me. Um, so what goes hand in hand with that? So you know, want to do some type of what goes hand in hand with education, books, right? So we want to have that to be a staple of the community. We want to make sure that people have access to quality books where they can either learn skills or they can learn history, they can learn, you know, they can learn anything they want to learn, right? And of course, we have libraries and stuff like that. But want to have an environment, a more community environment where it's not so, you know, so crowded and stuff like that, especially in today's day and age. Um, so that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we're creating these things in the in the community for everyone to benefit. As they say, a rising tide raises all boats. So why would I want to hold you down when I know that I'm anchoring myself at the same time? You know what I mean? That's that's not a good way of thinking about stuff. You got to think bigger than that. It's not about you or me, it's about our kids. It's about their kids. What are we going to leave to them? You know, I see a couple of my partners just joined in listening. you know, I mean, they doing great things. I see them doing great things in the community, and I applaud you, brothers. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay positive. Keep being a positive role model out there for your families and for the community. We need it. We really need it. But yeah, so we want to have access to books, where people can come and they can learn whatever they want to learn. Want to have a business center where people can come and they can get business services, right? Because if they're going to be starting businesses, then they're going to need those business services as well. And so we need people who are going to be able to be a part of that to give them business services. Okay. Um, well, also, of course, you gotta eat to live, and you should eat to live. Um, So you want to have like refreshments, but you want to have nutritional refreshments, and we want to have nutritional information to help teach people. We want to have people who can teach health and food, healthy eating, nutrition, right? healthy habits, right? All of these things so that it can be a one-stop shop for community wellness, you know, from the mind to the body to the spirit, you know, because we always got to put God first, always. Um, so part of the business center is going to be, computer repair, right? So, can teach people how to do basic computer repair. So when people have issues, they can come, they can bring it, and for a very discounted fee, they can get their computer fixed. Basically, almost if they just buy the parts, they can get their computers fixed. And but it teaches people how to work on the computers, and so it teaches them how to maintain that, so if they have a business, they'll be able to maintain their IT infrastructure, right? Um, and of course, you can learn advanced techniques and skills to go along with that. Like virtualization, creating virtual machines that can do everything that a regular machine can do or more, right? Um, So, also we want to promote other businesses and we want to promote other people, other services in the community. So that will be a place where they can come and they can get information about other services and other businesses that they may need, right? So that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. When we're talking about community empowerment, that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about raising all the boats, not just mine, not just yours, everybody. We want everybody to be able to participate in the elevation of their own community. I'm gonna say that one more time. We want everybody to participate in the elevation of their own community. Everybody. Nobody is exempt. If you on the same frequency, then you should be a part of that. You should be a part of that because that's what we need. We need people who are on that frequency. You know, anybody can use somebody, you know, but it's a wise man who can use his talents to empower somebody, to help somebody, to teach somebody. That's a wise man. You know the saying, teach a give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man how to fish, feed him for a lifetime, right? That's what we want to do. We want to teach people how to fish. We want to teach people how to build by building. It's one and the same. So as we're building this in the community, people are learning. Oh, so this is how you build. So I can go and I can build. Matter of fact, where I come from, they need a program like that. So, hey, you guys come and help me build this. And then you see how it'll be kinetic energy. You know what I'm saying? Movement, energy of movement. It'll be momentum. It's momentum. It is momentum, right? Because the energy's never going to stop. They keep pushing us forward. That's what we want. That's what we need. We want that. We need that. So that's what I want everybody to think about. Um, you know, when it comes to that. But also, part of that, we want to kind of bring back an old school vibe of, kind of family night, right? A center where people can come to vibe out, have fun, maybe play games together, um, talk, have discussions, like a community forum, a place, a thought incubator where people can come and pass around ideas and network with people to bring about greater good in the community, right? That's what we want. So that's what we will have. That's what we will have. That's what it will be because that's what it is. You know, um, I have also, have some good quality family entertainment going on where people can come and they can do shows and they can do events, um, you know, and help with the process, right? Be a part of the process, because you need the entertainment part too, but we want to do edutainment, right? We want to do entertainment that educates, not just educate entertainment that just doles you down. We want that kind that builds you up, make you laugh while it's making you think, right? That's what we talking about. That's what us thinkers. That's what we want. You know, when we looking at stuff, we want to have that. That's what's gonna stimulate us. You know, you know, y'all hear the jazz in the background, but you know, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, we definitely want it to be a part of the whole entire process, right? We want it to be, um, organic type of vibe, you know. Um, oh, I almost forgot. Like, part of that process too is teaching people how to cultivate the land, right? So we want to have classes that teach people gardening, teach people farming, agriculture, right? Um, and how to cultivate the earth and get it to produce good fruits, right? Um, for your family and for others. Start a community garden, right? Start multiple community gardens all over the city. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to do. And people spend time, tending to it. We got so many abandoned lots, abandoned buildings that can be torn down and used for the purpose, right? You could probably buy it for pennies on a dollar, you know, tear it down, turn it into a community garden, right? Turn it into something that's going to provide sustenance, right? And what will that turn into? That'll turn into job opportunities as well, right? It's so amazing. I remember reading a story about this young African girl who came up with, she used technology, she used machine learning to to figure out how to um, get the computer to recognize if plants had some type of illness. So there's an app that you can use that you point it at the plant, it'll analyze it and it'll tell you if it has any known version of illness that's associated with those types of plants. Isn't that amazing? See, this is a idea of how technology can still help, even when it comes to like things like growing food, right? Even if it's as simple as growing food, technology can help you with that. You know, you just got to be creative, right? You just got to have Kumba, right? I told you I'm on my Kwanzaa 365. So you got to have that Kumba, right? You got to have that creativity. You got to be able to think outside the box. Don't just think about it in the terms of what you have been shown. Because if you just look at technology in the sense of how it's been presented to you, then yeah, that's all you see. All you see is the disruptive qualities of what it can do. But if you take that out of it and you put the spirit back into it, put the soul back into it, technology can be what it was for the ancient Egyptians, right? It can be a means of, irrigating a whole region. You know what I'm saying? It could be a means of feeding a nation of people. I mean, that's what we're trying to get to, right? But we got to start somewhere. So, I encourage every and anybody who's interested in helping to support this project, please get in contact with me either through Facebook or on Instagram or on through any one of the podcasts. mediums, get in contact with me. Get in contact with me and let me know that you're interested in helping, and we'll find you a place, because that's one thing about it. When you need everything, then you need everybody. There is no, hey, we ain't got nothing for you. Well, we got something for everybody because we need everything. So I mean, it's one of those things where you can't turn nobody down if they want to help. You know, so, and again, you shouldn't want to. I mean, you should want people to help, and you should want them to be a part of it, because it's a community project. It's not something. It's not a me project. It's not a them project. It's a community project. You know. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call this podcast. I think I've talked your ear off enough, but I know all the people who support me and appreciate what I do, I support and I appreciate you. And if there's anything that I can help you with as well, remember, this is a community project. So even if you have a business, if you have a business that you want us to highlight and you want us to find a place for you, then definitely reach out and we will definitely do that, okay? Because we have a place for everybody and we want everybody to be a part of it, okay? And I love you all and I appreciate you all for the support. I'm excited about what's coming up in the future. I can't wait to reveal it all to you in its totality. Right now I'm just getting you aligned. I'm getting you aligned you know, with the universe right now. This is the universe. The universe is talking to you right now. Get aligned, because your spirit wants cooperation. Your ego wants separation. So if you're ever thinking in a separative mind, then you're thinking with your ego. Okay. So when it comes to this, you're going to want to make sure that you are aligned with your spirit, because that's what's going to guide you. That's what guides us, you know. And so with that, I love you all. I appreciate you. I don't know if y'all noticed in the background, I got a new logo. Let me know in the chat how y'all like that too. I know y'all see the hat. I know y'all see the hat. I had to bring it out, you know. Had to bring it out. Let them know I still got it. And when I say still got it, I in the hat. I still got that. But yeah. So I appreciate everybody and thank you again. And please share this out. Share this out to everybody so that they can see it and so that they can hopefully, you know, uh, you know, they can hopefully be a part of it. Okay. Thank you again, and we'll see you on the next one. Intelligent Gentleman out. Peace.